We've talked about how idolatry is present even in our modern secular culture, but we need to watch out for idols in the church as well. We'll probably cover examples of this in the future, but right now I'd like to discuss just one: marriage and family. Marriage and family are good things, but we need to make sure that they don't become the final arbiter of truth and meaning. We don't want family values to become political bludgeons or measuring sticks to determine a person's value. We don't want to communicate that you are not a complete person until you are married, or until you have children. This might be the message that we send if our sermons are primarily directed to married congregants, and if most of our church programs are focused on addressing the needs of families. Is the goal of the singles ministry in your church about discipleship and service, or is it about the unspoken goal of finding a spouse? And is the single person expected to bring the same number of servings to the potluck as a family of 8? I remember a time when singles were overlooked for church leadership positions. The idea was that if you're not married, that somehow you're not ready for leadership. The reality is that singles in general will have more energy and more time to serve the church. They're extremely valuable. And let's not forget that Jesus and Paul were both single. Enthusiasm for and the encouragement of families is really important. After all, families are good things, but we want to be sure to keep them in the good thing category. Jesus ushered in a new kind of family, the family of God, the body of Christ, the church. And in this family, marital status doesn't matter. In Mark 3:31-35, someone informed Jesus that his family was looking for him, but he responds with a question. "Who are my mother and my brothers?" he asked. Then he looked at those seated in the circle around him and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother." Jesus told the crowd that they, the crowd, were in fact his family. Jesus kind of redefines family. "For whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and sister and mother." Then in Luke 14:26, Jesus said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple." This is hyperbole to make the point that our focus ought to be on the new family, the church as a multi-generational, multi-ethnic family. So what does this say about the nuclear family? So here are some thinking points about the importance that Jesus puts on the church family. How many people are there in my life that are significantly more than acquaintances? How many of these are not like me? Should we be missing church on Sunday because of Bobby's hockey game or dance recital or whatever? Should I support the church financially before I plan the expensive holiday? Yes, the kids are getting older and we won't have forever to do these things, but what does it look like to prioritize the body of Christ? I wonder if we should take the opportunity to fellowship with the church family instead of always going over to grandma's for soup and buns after church. Should we get rid of the idea that parents of young children should be exempt from serving in church ministry? It sounds a little like our priorities lie with the family. Are you shocked that I said that? I am just a little, but it seems to be in line with what Jesus is teaching about the church family. If it helps, ask yourself this: what will your children learn by observing your commitment to serve the church family, even when they are young, versus you staying at home and playing games and reading books with them all evening? Every evening? And be honest, is that what you really do? If you are sometimes busy with the church, they will learn that the church is important, and they will likely learn that there's something bigger than themselves. This is a good lesson nowadays. Family is a good thing, but we need to make sure we don't make our devotion to family the way we worship and serve God. That's supposed to be the church, the people of God. All this is to say that our worldviews can often be hiding idolatries, which are hiding in our closets with our cheap Walmart t-shirts, and even in the soup over at Grandma's house. It behooves us to deal with our idols, especially the big ones, the more significant strands of paganism that run through our worldviews. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.